Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jessing Rev, and welcome to the second part of us predicting the 2026 regulations with Mr. Ankit Roy 45.
Yay! So, yes, I am back. Yes, I am. Last time out, the video went really long and we couldn't complete our predictions. So, this time, we are actually resuming the predictions we did.
Yes, so we will be predicting the rest five teams that are left, and they are all the top teams. So
Yeah.
let's first get a recap of what we did last time. But I will recommend you go watch the entire video. We had a lot of fun, and you will get all of the context to why we put some teams to where we put them. So if you want to watch that video, the link is in the description and the timestamps are given in that video. So go. If you don't have time, directly go to that point when you start predicting. If not, you can enjoy us yapping about F1 for 1 hour straight. And I guess we will be doing that. So tomorrow, today too.
I mean,
So I think we should.
the most important thing we last time we did was Cadillac, I think. So, the most hopes we are having on Cadillac. So, that is a must watch part, I think, from the last podcast, isn't it?
Yes. In this video, let's start off with Mr. Ankit Rai giving you a recap of everything we did last time.
So last time we did five teams actually. So first we talked about the most hype team, to be honest. Not really hype, but most hopeful team in my opinion. I think that is Cadillac. I personally put Cadillac in P9. Why I put Cadillac P9? Because of so we put our reasons in the last video. You must check it out for a full review sort of stuff. Then I put Audi below Cadillac, that is in P10. Then we talked about Alpine and all the problems with Alpine, and also Alpine is changing their engine to Mercedes engine because the Renault powertrain kinda is bad, really. So some people say it's like 30 horsepower less or so. So switching to Mercedes engine would hope so. I put Alpine in P7. Next, we talked about two of the sister Red Bull teams. First is Vija KSF. No, of course not. We're gonna talk about Sugar Free Red Bull. That is Sugar Free Red Bull, as Racing Rev said last time, which was really funny.
It is the Sugar Free Red Bull 10, and if you want to know why we are calling it Sugar Free Red Bull Team, go check out the last video.
For sure. I mean, full marketing in the video. We are promoting our first video in our second video. I mean, we promoted this video in our last video also, so it's a promotion. And we put Red Bull in P2 because of Red Bull having a new team principal Lauren Mackey, and the team is overall good graph, good upward graph. So I think they're gonna do good. So what we were left with Haas, Ferrari, Williams, Mercedes, and McLaren. You top, promising teams, to be honest. So now let's talk about the remaining teams which we are yet to say.
Okay, so we will be doing the rest of the five teams as Mr. Ankit Rai said.
Uh,
And so let's start off with, I think, Williams.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
So for me, Williams has a great lineup of Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. Alexander Albon, truly an underrated driver for me because his first few years in Red Bull with that second car, again, the Red Bull second car isn't that good. So after he went to Williams and the struggling years of Williams and the struggling years of Williams of during his era with Logan Sargent, he really didn't get to show his talent because of the car that he was in. But now that he is in a good car, he has shown under pressure of Carlos Sainz, he did great in the first half of the season, the 2025 season. And Carlos Sainz, he is also a great driver. He has been in Ferrari for 3 4 years, so the expertise that he is going to bring the team is going to be valuable. And the Williams team got their podium after so many years with Carlos Sainz, so that is an upward trajectory for Williams. And also Williams using the Mercedes engine And as I have repeated like thousand times in the last video, if Mercedes engine reliability is not that bad, we will see the Mercedes power teams do great. And so Williams is also on a high upward trajectory. So I will put Williams in a respectable P5 because we also have to put the other teams. Although Williams are good, but I am not hopeful in their development trajectory. So it will be a P5.
So I think under the supervision and team principal leadership, I should rather say, of James Vowell, I think the Williams has improved a lot in terms of overall, team environment. Also, it is much better than other teams. So I think the Mercedes, as Racing Reft says, the Mercedes engine, it's quite good. It's still better, and I think Williams should do quite good. Carlos Sainz converting. Podium, to be honest. Actually, he got two podium, if I'm not wrong, one in Azerbaijan and another in Qatar. I mean, on pace, pretty much he did that, because last time Williams got a podium was pretty much, it was not a race, it was like rain soaked 2021.
Try and get past Hamilton. First overtaking zone is normally down into turn 5. Is Verstappen far enough back? He's going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees him coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen.
On Belgian GP, George Russell got the podium, but that was not the normal race pace podium. But Williams this season got back on the podium on pace, so that is impressive. So the trajectory, and also one important point should not be forgetting, that is Williams before starting the 2025 season actually declared that they will put more focus on the 2026 car. So there is a high chance that they already started working on the car, and I mean they did. I think they did long time ago, because they promised that the 2026 car would be their goal for the season. Even though they did not bring much upgrade on the later stages of the season in the 2025 season, what I mean, but they still got a good performance out of Carlos Sainz switching up and bringing two podiums for Williams in a season. When Williams did that, last time, I think in 2015-16, when Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa was there, they used to perform this good actually. But Carlos Sainz brought it back. So for me, both Alex Albon, who is pretty good, and also Carlos Sainz also bringing that, smooth operator into the mix. So for me, I will put Williams at P4.
Okay, so you put Williams in P4. So I think let's do the team that I am the least hopeful for, that is Haas.
So, let's talk about the next team, which many people, including me maybe, are very less hopeful about, even though this team came as a very hopeful team back in 2016. But, people slowly lost the hope on Haas. Um, last season Haas did a good job on the hands of Oliver Behrman, P4 finish in Mexico. So that is pretty solid results from Haas in equaling their best finish. So Haas did a so less good performance, but not that consistent, for up positions. So for me, Haas, it's very less promising for Haas, in my opinion. They are still doing the same ways they used to do, even though they have a new team principal. Gunther Steiner did bring a little bit of spiciness in the team, especially in the drive to survive. I don't swear, don't.
He does not fox smash my door. Tell him that. If he doesn't want
Okay, jokes apart. I mean, I'm in a weird mood somehow. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of less hopeful towards Haas. They lack that magic that teams brings. Like Williams, who was pretty much a back marker team. They bring magic. They bring magic. Even McLaren. They were so bad in 2023. Remember 2022, 2023. They were not really great, but they bring magic. They brought magic, and they are now championship contenders. So that magic, I personally kind of feel it's missing kind of in Haas. So for me, Haas gonna be P11. If they're gonna demote, they're gonna be in P11. Now, Racing Rev, what's your opinion about Haas. I put Haas in P11, dead last.
Okay, so that is quite unfortunate, but yes, so Haas has a lineup of rookie Oliver Behrman and
Mhm.
Esteban Ocon. So yeah, we all know Esteban Ocon and his French performance, terrorism in French. So against his teammates with
10
Fernando
second,
Alonso, Pierre
te-
Gasly.
10-second penalty for Ocon, no matter what. Whatever happens,
Yes,
10-second penalty for Ocon.
yes. So, anyways, jokes apart, Esteban
Yeah.
Ocon also a great driver, and Oliver Behrman again a great driver. It's still a rookie. So although the team has expertise, also the Toyota that is their what is
They're
also
as a
Toyota
partner,
supplying
as a partner, they are joining the team. It's like Toyota Haas.
and also Toyota Gazoo Racing Haas
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and also Toyota joining Haas as their partners. I don't know how much they are going to get good, but the aero package, the engines, there Haas is using Ferrari engines, so that is a bad thing on the first note, and not really hopeful for that. So I will give it a P10.
Okay. So you put Haas in
So
P10 and I put Haas in P11. So we both are pretty hopeless about Haas and Ferrari
yes,
engine.
yes. So now let's do the new engine manufacturer that is coming in. Not new, but with a new team, a new partnership that is Aston Martin Honda. So
Yes.
Aston Martin has like probably the dream lineup with Adrian Newey as team principal and lead engineer. The Honda engines, we saw how powerful Honda engines were in the Red Bull era from 22 to 25. So I think, and also Aston Martin has rookie Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. Yes,
That
Lance
is
Stroll,
cash. You know, that is cash.
Daddy Cash. So I think Aston Martin will do good, but they are using the Honda engines, and we all know Fernando Alonso's relationship with Honda engines in the 2015 era. So, and guessing on Fernando's luck, whatever happened to him in that era,
GP2 engine.
I will GP2 engine. Yes. So, guessing from what happened with Honda in that era, and if also Honda pulled out of their engine program after 23, and then they got late start to development and the deal with Honda with Aston Martin
Mhm.
in the middle of 24. So they already had less time than all the other teams to develop the cars, the engines. So I think Aston Martin and Honda will be on the back foot. I want to give them a higher rating, but I don't also have hope for a Honda. They can be a GP2 engine or a Max Verstappen engine. So I will put them in a respectable P8.
Okay. So, as you said, I also think Aston Martin does have a dream lineup, but they are like Real Madrid. I shouldn't be roasting like that, but having everything, but still lacking some of the things like putting all together. So, as Racing Rep said, I think also Aston Martin has everything like new Adrian Newey, one of the greatest designer in Formula One history, pretty much you can say he has designed championship winning cars, but now he is in Aston Martin, but he became a team principal pretty late. That means it was not really in the plans that he would be becoming a team principal, but he is. So there could be a different, a little bit of a twist in the team, to be honest, maybe different sort of decisions. But one thing we are, I mean, everyone were hopeful that Alonso winning his, third championship in Aston Martin, and also people are very hopeful that Adrian Newey is designing the car. But we can't be this much hopeful because Honda is again entering in Formula One again. I mean, after their exit. But as a new engine developer or as a new engine supplier, we can't be that much sure because it takes a lot of research development to get that, and also regulation change. So there can be a possibility that Honda makes a good engine for Aston Martin, or maybe they all mess up, because the main problem that Aston Martin had in the earlier season, also in 2024, that reliability. Suspension broke in Monza. That was crazy. Alonso was driving good, but out of nowhere, the suspension broke. So reliability, also engine reliability, also a matter. And yeah, very exciting, very exciting lineup. That is, as Racing Rep said, our rookie, the big daddy rookie is Alonso, and also daddy's cash, that is Lance Stroll. I mean, I'm really harsh on Lance Stroll. I'm not saying he's a bad guy or bad person, but as I said also in earlier my podcast, I think this team needs some magical drivers. What I mean by magical driver. Remember Max Verstappen, the team is struggling, but he, put together some magic performances. Carlos Sainz also put some magic into the, earlier, in 2024. Franco Colapinto also brought some magic in Williams. So I'm talking about that magical twist in the driving, in a driven lineup. So I think Lance Stroll is failing to bring that magic in the team. So I don't know. I don't know make decisions in Aston Martin. They do. So nothing can be said on the driver lineup, but in terms of technical lineup, we can be little hopeful. It can go really good or maybe really bad. So I'll put Aston Martin same as Racing Rev said in P8. I think it's gonna be P8. It will take some time for Newey to maybe um, making that aero package. Also, the Honda also developing the engines. So it's not gonna be a miracle season for Aston Martin in 2026, but in the futures we can be hopeful. Now, what do you think about the decision, Racing Rev?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Also, if you look at Aston Martin's like logistics, they are a Brixworth-based team. That is also where Mercedes is, but their logistics is spread all over. Like Honda is based in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and have a lot of offices that are in America or in any other country. So they have a huge problem with logistics. So if it is not managed well, it will cause very much problems. So yeah, so a P8 should be justified for them.
I also think so.
So with that done, I think let's talk about those two teams who are being hyped the most with their engines and the recent 2025 champions, that is Mercedes and McLaren. So let's first talk about the customer team, that is McLaren, and the recent 2025 champions.
So, you know, McLaren really did a good job. I mean, in terms of making the car, I think the McLaren was a pretty solid car. The reason Max did not win the championship is the inconsistency of the car. And McLaren made it. McLaren made a consistent car. That is a factor also, because if you during the races people say like Williams package suits Monza track more, or McLaren support. For example, I'm saying McLaren, uh, the car supports a low downforce circuit, or some cars support high downforce circuit. So it's like kind of towards one thing, but making a overall optimized car which can perform consistently over all the tracks. That's where the difference comes, to be honest. That's what I mean, and McLaren just did that, I think so. That's why this was the reason McLaren wins it, which Ferrari pretty much lacks this consistency. But yes, McLaren, I'm hopeful for McLaren, but we lost the hope little bit, I think so. As there was a little bit of a mania going on with the McLaren drivers, the papaya rules, messing up all around. It's no doubt both drivers are equally competitive. Both were trying to, take out points from each other. Lando Norris did that at the end of the season, and Oscar Piastri pulled it out in the beginning of the season. So McLaren is quite good, but the trajectory Red Bull has gone. I think so that McLaren will be beaten by Red Bull in the constructors, and McLaren would be P3 for me. That's what I feel like. McLaren would be P3 as as in compared to Red Bull, because this is a very fine line between Red Bull and McLaren as of now. So there could be a high possibility that they will continue this in 2026. So I'll put McLaren in P3. What do you think, Racing Reb?
So for me, we will have to go 10,000 years ago. That is in 2022, the new regulation changes.
Mhm.
McLaren didn't start out strong, and they were the only team to go pretty much from last to winning the Constructors' Championship in 25. So even if they are a strong team now, if you have seen, they were
Mhm.
in a championship fight with Red Bull, right? So
Yes.
they brought upgrades late, even in the season, so that they can be competing with Red Bull. McLaren, they have Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris, the recent world champion. Oscar Piastri, he in his third season in Formula One. So this season will be his fourth season. He almost gave it a fight. He led the championship standings for a little bit. If we not for the papaya rules, we might have had Oscar Piastri as the champion. And also because and also the reason Max was so close to the championship was because of these papaya rules, because of their inconsistencies. That is, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri both DNFing in Las Vegas, and then Lando Norris crashing on the back of Oscar Piastri in Canada. So all those mistakes that they made, if they don't make it, I am really very much hopeful for them, because again they are using the Mercedes engines. So if Mercedes engines are not a reliability issue and pull out the performance that they are saying, and also McLaren does some great work with their aero package, I think McLaren will have a good P2 in the championship.
Okay, so you put Red Bull in P3 and McLaren in P2, right? So I did the opposite actually. I put Red Bull in P2 and McLaren, and I also think that they would be really close. This would be either P2 and P3. Both teams may shuffle this McLaren and Red Bull. This lineup may shuffle, but I think they would be really close. So I also think that Racing Rev is also thinking but the opposite way. I'm also thinking the reverse way. So it gonna be any either of it, but we both are hopeful about that McLaren and Red Bull would be really close. So we have finished most of the teams. Now we are remaining with two teams, main two teams, that is
Mercedes,
Mercedes and Ferrari. So let's talk about the main engine supplier team, the factory team Mercedes, AMG Petronas, Toto Wolff, Merc Racing. That was I mean, he did a great
yes.
job to
So
win it.
first of all, a matter of fact that Mercedes is the biggest supplier of Formula One, you can say right now. The Mercedes engine department, that is Mercedes EQ
Mm,
Performance. So basically, Mercedes is two teams. That is the Mercedes AMG Petronas, that is their racing team, and the Mercedes EQ Performance, that is their engine supplier. So that Mercedes engine supplier is providing to Mercedes themselves. Then they are supplying to McLaren, Alpine, and Williams. So that is four teams that they are supplying. That is the most number of teams that is they are supplying. So Toto Wolff is
having a
having a
much
lot of
profit.
money to play with.
Money.
Cash, dirty cash. So
Unlike daddy's
Yeah,
cash.
yes. So jokes aside,
Nah, Joseph.
I think Mercedes with the terrorist lineup of Osama bin Russell and Kimi Taliban Tonelli, so uh, they won't have any problems like the papaya rules. So if
Yeah, yeah.
Russell is about to win, then they will sacrifice Antonelli to crash into whoever is in P2 or 3 so that Russell wins it. Uh, They can use this tactic, if they are, any of them are watching this, a very good tactic for
Yeah, yeah,
to win.
they can try, of course they can try. They can use drivers as real life bomb threats, and yeah, wow.
Yes.
No, 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 just
So,
kidding. Don't. No, 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 no. I mean, we don't want to
disclaimer:
see we don't want to see
disclaimer.
Antonelli taking out Max again, huh? We don't want to see Antonelli taking out Max again. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So, disclaimer: we are not giving advice to any team.
Of
We do
course, of
not
course.
support any terrorist activities. We are
This
just here for racing and
this should not
predictions.
be broadcast in Taliban for sure. This
Yes.
can this can be deadly.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't be making this joke, dude, because we can be nuked off the planet anytime soon. No, we're not gonna say that.
Kimi hit the first Red Bull, and this year he should, uh, you know, knock
Kimi
out the
hits
second Red Bull.
Kimi hits Max. Then Kimi continues. Kimi gets a 10 days penalty. Then Isaac Hajar takes revenge. He crashes into George Russell. Then Isaac Hajar gets 11 days penalty. Then everyone crashes into each other. It becomes a NASCAR race. Then they fight like NASCAR drivers, like it's real life are fighting. And end of the world. 2026, the end of the world. That's the answer. Maybe.
So Mercedes, we have the dream lineup that is of George Russell. He has a lot of experience with him, and both of experience of both driving and terrorism with him also. Also, Kimi Antonelli, he also has 1 year of racing experience and also a terrorism with drivers, that is Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. So they are a great duo, like we saw in Zandvoort 25 when Charles Leclerc wanted to be a little aggressive with Russell. Kimi Antonelli took it personally and took out Charles Leclerc out of the race. So they can do that if Mercedes has a great engine and a great car. They can use that tactic to give each of their drivers world championship respectively. So a great
Yeah.
tactic to use for Mercedes. And anyways, if they do great, and if like Antonelli, he has been the most hyped driver after Lewis Hamilton left the team in 24, that is 25. So he has been hyped a lot. He did underachieve a little bit, but he has great potential. If the Mercedes car wasn't that inconsistent with the rear suspension upgrade that decreased their performance, so it was a downgrade. Uh, if that was not the case, Antonelli could have scored a little more points. So I'll be now making the big decision here. That is, I think Mercedes will be the 2026 Formula One World Constructors Championship. So they will be finishing in
Woo!
P1.
So, you know, this is totally not scripted, for sure. Out of nowhere, I also put Mercedes in P1. That is crazy. This written on this paper. I also put Mercedes in P1 because I also pretty much think Mercedes. I mean, unlike the terrorism, but also think Mercedes will be P1, because if you focus about the technical standpoints, Mercedes lack little bit consistency in this ground effect era. Earlier in the hybrid era, Mercedes were really consistent. I mean, both the cars were consistently proving to be a good car. So, even after Nico Rosberg left, Valtteri Bottas also brought up pretty much of consistency in the team. The car was also very consistent overall. That was, in Formula One, consistency is very important. I mean, this is one of the reasons people wins or lose. So Mercedes had a good engine, to be honest. Not gonna lie, Mercedes engine is still one of the you see McLaren, the customer team performs so good. Why? What makes the difference? That is the aero package. McLaren has a very good aero package, which Mercedes lacks. I mean, when they introduced the zero pod design, everything got messed up in the aero department for Mercedes, but in the engine department, I think Mercedes is still pretty strong. Mercedes actually lacks, in my opinion. I think Mercedes actually little bit lacks the aero performance, so I have a good promising feeling that Mercedes would do good in 2026 season with a good aero package. Mercedes with a good aero package would perform really good and dominant. And also have to bring the consistency. I think also Mercedes will be winning the Constructors' Championship in 2026, but it's gonna be a little bit closer than that dominant era they used to have. I think Red Bull, McLaren will have a very close call with Mercedes. But at the end of the day, I think Mercedes, with a good aero package and with a good engine as they have, will perform pretty good. I think so. So I pretty much leveled up with Racing Rev. We both saying Mercedes will win the constructors championship. That is crazy. I mean, we don't support terrorism, but we support Mercedes in this place right here. So, what do you think, Racing Rev? Yay!
Yes, exactly. And also, the thing is, Mercedes engines were never really a problem for Mercedes. Other than the 2025 season, we saw quite a few bit of engine
Mhm.
retirements, that is in Imola and for Williams in a few races. Other than that, like there are only like we can name the years and the races where Mercedes engines failed.
Yes,
So that is a really reliable
yes,
engine.
it's very rare. Consistency is the problem, but it's very rare. And also, overall performance of the Mercedes engine is pretty solid. I think so. Look, Williams performed
Yes.
good. McLaren performed. They were champions, and Mercedes themselves also performed really good. So I think still, Mercedes engine is one of the best engine on the grid. So that's why I was also hopeful, pretty much hopeful for Alpine also. Like they finished dead last back there, but I'm hopeful for Alpine also. The Mercedes engine is the reason, I think so.
Yes. So we are left with only one and only one team. That is my, what can I say, gives me uh,
Nightmare.
PTSD and trauma after every weekend. Like in the final part of the 2025 season, I was getting trauma every Saturday. Lewis getting out of Q1 in the last three races. So I really didn't want to talk about Ferrari. So that is why it is in the last of
Yes.
this. So
So,
Ferrari, we have a dream lineup of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. So, I mean, what more can I say? There is nothing much to say. We know Ferrari, they will either do something, play with some kind of rule that is they did in 2019, I guess, with the fuel
the
pump
fuel.
system.
Okay.
Yes. And they might find a loophole, and once that loophole is closed, their car will just fumble off the performance table. We saw in 25, they started off, what can I say, decent. Then they got to
Decent,
P2 in
yes.
the championship, but they dropped. They were even slower than the one car team of Red Bulls. They dropped to P4, nowhere to be seen. Ferrari, I mean, what can I say? It's just depression and depression. And next, I'm gonna say this right now. That is, next year is gonna be our year. This 2026, yeah. But also a little bit of hope. I don't know, can be said or not. We don't really know anything about the Ferrari engine. We don't know anything about their aero package. They has been really, really secretive about everything. Also, Ferrari, the one thing reason that they were very slow last year was that they stopped development of the 2025 car in early April. So I don't know how much that will be aiding in 2026 development with the all the circus that Ferrari is. So I am not really, keeping hope or expectations on Ferrari. The best way to be happy in life is to get rid of expectations. So Ferrari will be P4 on my list.
So, as Racing Rep
So
said, they are.
Ferrari, we know that 6-7 meme that is currently going on. So Ferrari every weekend gives us that 6-7. It's a meme team.
As Racing Rep said, as you said, Ferrari is so secret with their development. They are so secret that they don't even know what they are doing. They are so secret. that their employees don't even know what they are doing. So that is the motivation behind this team actually. I mean, how this can happen? They have everything, you know. I mean, we can joke about Aston Martin, that is still okay, but Ferrari, dude, this is crazy. They have so much of facilities, they have so much of talented people in the team, yet they are fumbling up. For me, what we need, I mean, all Ferrari fans need is, I mean, I also would really love to see Ferrari doing good. Not gonna lie, Ferrari is a great, very historic team and also very iconic team. Also, we cannot imagine Formula One without the red car Ferrari. So, you know, I'll be really hopeful if Ferrari makes good progress. I'll not, say like, oh, Ferrari. We make all the jokes out there, but we somewhere in every heart of Formula One fan, I pretty much think they also want that Ferrari should do good. But what Ferrari lacks is a lot of things actually. A lot of things are very confusing. I mean, we don't understand. If I've listened some of the behind the scenes, the radio calls when Lewis Hamilton was saying he don't want to pay, but the team was like pit, and they just messed the race up. Strategy very messed up. There was a meme going on in 2022, like they are so messed up with the strategies, like jokes all around. So it's just very silly uh, things actually Ferrari does. In 2024, the car was really good, so I was pretty much also hopeful for Ferrari. I mean, it was actually close, very close battle. So what we need Ferrari is consistency. I think if they bring consistency, consistent update, consistent, taking feedbacks from the driver is very important. If you don't take feedbacks from the, because driver is the main connection between the car and the team. So driver is the center point. So taking good inputs from the team, listening to the driver what they are saying, because both driver Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton pretty much one of the greatest. So Lewis Hamilton, we don't have to say about him. He is no doubt one of the greatest driver, and so Charles Leclerc is one of the most emerging great talents in the generation. So Ferrari should also be a little bit opening up with communications with the drivers. Not like saying that must be the water and stuff. So let's add to the words of wisdom stuff. So bringing some small changes would bring a lot of good things, to be honest, because you have seen in China at the beginning of the year, Lewis Hamilton made it out in the sprint race win. So it's no doubt that drivers are bad or something like that. No, drivers are pretty good. So has to do on the management stuff, or how they communicate with the driver and the car, and overall how they build the car on all of the factors based on. So if we consider all of this, Ferrari should do good, but I am hopeless as everyone. So I have put Ferrari in respectable. I'm still respect Spinala in P5 for me. I have put Ferrari in P5, and as all F1 fans, maybe Ferrari can be a little bit closer, and we can have a little bit of a iconic battles going on with the top teams, as we used to have back in 2018, 2017 Ferrari versus Mercedes, really good. Hopefully we can have some more, but next season is we are less hopeful about. So if Ferrari, manages out all of these things, they fix these things out, we can be hopeful. So what do you think, Racing Rep?
Yeah, like I said, Ferrari starts off the season in the front foot, that is see 2022, 2019, and then due to the lack of consistency and the clown show that goes on in Ferrari, they lose performance over the season instead of gaining it, and it cost them the championship. Like in 2022, that car was what can I say, like mid, but yet Charles Leclerc was fighting Max Verstappen. We saw some great battles in Bahrain, in Saudi. So, and the 2022 regulation started with a Red Bull double DNF in Bahrain. So, the Ferrari won that race. So, and also in 24 Australia, Ferrari got a double podium. That is, Charles Leclerc got the win, Carlos Sainz, I guess, got P2. So they start off the season very strong, then they
No,
fall away.
Carlos won that race, right? Isn't that Carlos won, right?
Yeah, Carlos won. Carlos
Hmm.
won, and Charles Leclerc got to P2. So if Ferrari is consistent around the season, so they can go do good. But if they can stay consistent, I mean, it's always if my
Nah, out of nowhere, Max came into my vision somehow. If it's about if if my mom had balls, that would be my
he
dad.
will be my dad. And with that, we come to an end of our predictions. So a lot of like a lot of extraordinary places like for P4 Mercedes champions, Cadillac P9 for Ankit Roy, Mr. Ankit Roy. So that's really hopeful thing. We will be coming back to look at how this went at the first quarter of the races. That is after, so that is 24 races. So after the first four races, we will be coming back to review where we are with our championship, and we will be doing it consistently. So if you want to see more of this and get notified on the first term, subscribe to my channel. And also Mr. Ankit Rai, he gives off great FX Racer content, and I give off a lot of monoposto content and FCR content. I hope you will enjoy them. So do go also check those videos out. You will enjoy them, and I'll see you guys. Till then, goodbye.